Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Heroes and Brews Live. And today we got two special guests with us from Wolrd Ales out of San Jose, California. We got Mark Denari and Sean Machoff here. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you guys for having us on.
Of course.
It's a pleasure.
You got Kolschi on in the background back there?
Yeah. So it's all three of us, right? We got Kolschi here. For those of you who have not seen our cans, Kolschi's my dog. I'm the owner of Wolrd Ales, and we like to feature her on a lot of the cans and get her in the comic kind of artwork that we've been doing recently. So
any way we can, it's fun.
Actually, have her on one of the cans I'm looking at right now. It's amazing.
Yeah. She's kind of our like bridge character in a sense, where like with Hop Heroes, we had a lot of hop characters and fruit characters, and she was sort of that guide from can to can to kind of make it all cohesive without just like randomly bringing in other characters. I don't know if you've seen the whole series, but on our Instagram we have like the whole starting from volume 1 going through, which kind of shares the entire story. So if you haven't seen it, somebody that's watching, definitely check out our Instagram to get the
it's on the little highlight button.
Yeah, their highlighted story. We just were looking back at it a little while ago just to kind of go through the details again. But the whole thing is there, and the whole thing is awesome, man. We really love the comic.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Just kind of a different take on drinking beer. Something to look forward to when the new beer comes out. Then you can just continue the story. So I found that really interesting.
So Kolschi's kind of like the Iron Man of Hop Heroes.
Yeah, that she is. Yeah. She's the Iron Man of Wolrd Ales, that's for sure. I think people recognize her a lot more than me. I've definitely gone to places where, somebody be like, "Is that Kolschi?" Like they don't, they don't even acknowledge me, which I'm fine with. I don't care. Like she's the star. So, and she's the good dog, and I think we got some fun things coming up that. We're kind of taking a small break from the Hop Heroes just to kind of, reset in a sense. And we got some cool one-offs coming up where she's like the sole star of the show. So you'll definitely see a lot more of Kolschi coming up soon.
Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna try and see how much I could shake you guys down for some info on like what's coming down the pipeline. We'll try and get into it a little bit later on, but cool. Perfect. That's good to know.
Yeah, Mark's pretty open. Just to give you a heads up.
I like sharing what we're doing with people. I mean,
cool.
it's interesting with whole trademarking and copyright laws and stuff, but I can share a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will ask. I'll be sure to ask as many questions as I can because I fucking love you guys' beer.
Thank you.
And so, Marcus,
happy to answer.
Do you want to talk about how you found them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, everybody who watches knows that we talk about comic book stuff. We review beers. I was sitting down on the couch one night, and Kevin Ty, they were texting me. They were shooting me some photos back and forth. They're like, "Hey, dude, check out these beers that we got," and they were all very comic label inspired. And I was like, "Cool." Shit, sorry about that. I was looking. I saw my cat and kind of he's sitting in the background hanging out.
I think Kolschi cat. Like ears perk up. She's looking outside.
Yeah. So yeah, they were shooting these texts back, right? And I saw these cans, and they were really awesome. The labels were really cool. I was like, okay, well, it's time for me to go out and find a comic book label sort of inspired beer. I didn't know what I was looking for. I went down to good old Hop Asylum, which I'm wearing their shirt right now, over in Brentwood, and went over to the case. I was looking at the beers, and I saw Volume 7. That's the very first beer that I saw from you guys. Label was awesome, very it's exactly what I was looking for. I actually have a Volume 6 right here in front of me. So I mean, something similar to this. Everybody's watching. Very, very cool. I never seen anything like that before. So I was like, this is absolutely perfect. Go when I get it. That's how I found you guys. Didn't know what the beer was gonna taste like. Took it back. I had a sip and was like, shit, this is the best. This is the best beer I've ever had. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your guys' ass. Volume 7 is really my favorite beer. It blew me away, and I loved it.
It literally blew away.
Brought it on the show, talked about it, and that's where we are now. That's how we know you guys.
Yeah.
I sincerely appreciate it, and I like that. I mean, I appreciate that you see that it's definitely something different. It's something I certainly haven't seen on other beer labels in terms of like a continuing comic series. I will say, I think Half Acre out of Georgia, they recently did one. It's kind of like a 4-panel on each can. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but
No.
maybe that would be another
not,
thing up your alley.
It's not an integrated story, right? It's more of a comic strip.
I think it's like a comic strip, and each can is sort of its own thing. So.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear you pick it up, and it's exactly what we were trying to put out there, is something unique, something new. Just so much of the industry is on this hype and kind of on the same lane. And so when Mark brought to me this idea, I was like so stoked. And then fast forward, when I saw you guys, I think the Instagram story is the first way I saw it.
Yeah.
That you tagged New World Ales in, and then I was like, dude, this is match made in
heaven.
Yeah.
This is the people that we made it for.
Yeah, you guys are the people that we made this for. So.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. So for both of you, so it's like comic book / kind of like nerd culture, like an influence on like obviously the beer, but like on your lives as well. Like how did that come to play?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we were trying to achieve originally when this idea came up was just to do something new and unique. Like if you look at our past beers, like what we did in 2018, 2019, a lot of it was the parody stuff that's really popular now. Mm-hmm. And I just don't really like doing that. I mean, I kind of, I did it, and I think I did a pretty good job of keeping it as original as possible while also sort of, referencing something in pop culture. But it's inherently unoriginal, like you're using somebody else's ideas and just kind of not ripping it off,
repackaging
it exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's fun, you always see something familiar and like there's a place for that. But I just, when Mark just threw this at me, I was like, dude, this is so different than anything that's going on.
Right.
I love it.
And I do definitely, going back to your original question, if, like comic culture was something that's big to us. I know it's definitely important to Sean. I know it's important to me. I was never like a huge comic guy, but I was big, like, I had all the X-Men cards growing up. I was a big Marvel fan growing up. Seeing all the stuff they're doing now is awesome. Like, I really enjoyed, WandaVision.
And I'm completely on the nerd deep end, dude. Like,
he's more nerd than I am.
Just to give you, little highlights, and my wife's tuning in, I think on Twitch, so she'll get a kick out of this.
Is that Hopperture?
No.
Hopperture is a phenomenal photographer out of
incredible photographer.
He gave some emojis out this way. So appreciate the view, the listen.
Nice, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Nice. Yeah.
Cheers, man. Cheers, JD.
But dude, I still have the packaged Star Wars figures in our attic.
Nice.
I still got the the in plastic comic books. I got I unearthed of some shirts that my brother had the foresight to package these things away before they ever got like destroyed. But they're tie-dye Star Wars shirts from the 90s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I still have all my X-Men cards, and Pogs are somewhere.
Dude,
Pogs.
I just had a conversation with my boss the other night. We were out in Bellevue, Washington, having some drinks, and we were talking about Pogs. It's so weird that you bring that up, because the last time I talked about Pogs, I think I was a kid still. So I thought it was crazy that we were talking about Pogs then, and you just brought up Pogs now. So holy shit.
It's like, awesome, what is it? Like styles every 20 years. So Pogs were cool in the 90s. So they'll make a comeback.
Yeah.
I hope so, dude. That was fun. You remember those slammers? They started getting ridiculously big.
Oh yeah, they were absurd. Like edges on the side and all that. Yeah.
I stopped playing, I think, because of that, because it was just getting too crazy. Like, you can't win. It's like, so what the fuck am I doing?
My fingers are bleeding. I'm just trying to get
our school stopped it because they were like, oh, it's gambling. Like, this is way too much like gambling. Like, you're wagering stuff back and forth. Like, no, you can't do it. Which only made us want to do it more, obviously.
Yeah. Totally.
There's definitely fights over Pogs too.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh, that's fun, man. That's awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up.
But yeah, I still have my X-Men Pogs. I still have, and even with, I'm so hyped over MCU. So I've actually watched a lot of your guys' MCU stuff.
Nice.
Oh, thanks, man.
I was always like, you know, younger. I'm always like, dude, this isn't exactly how I pictured it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just wait for technology to catch up, and now it's there. And I'm
Oh, it's
like,
there.
now I'm an adult with real money that I can.
It's
spend on
dangerous.
this stuff.
It's so
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah, and it's
Very
funny
cool,
because
man.
like, you know, especially when you go back and watch like the old like Batman '89 stuff, and it's just not there. It's so like corny and cheesy, but now you have all this stuff where you can actually take what's on the comic books and throw it onto the screen, and it works so well, and it's so much fun to watch.
dude, yeah.
What do you guys, out of curiosity, if you don't mind me asking you a question,
Sure.
what do you think led to that transition? Because now it has become much more, I feel like, true to the comics.
Yeah.
Versus back in the day, like you said, it was kind of corny and cheesy and just very, maybe more mainstream in a sense. Do you think it's just because, you know, internet and you're able to explore the universe that much more, or?
I just personally, for me, you know, I think the technology needs to be there, which obviously nowadays it is. Like, you know, Dark Knight Rises and stuff like that, the Dark Knight, it was great because Batman, you don't need the flashy, you know, flying around superpowers. If you watch the old Superman movies, you know, with the guy who plays the Atom in the CW series, Brandon Routh, you know, it's just, you can see the green screen in it and the fans blowing his cape. For me, like that was just, as a kid, like great, like I'll enjoy it. But as an adult, like it's too fake in a sense to me for that. But now that we have the technology we do, it has everyone zoned in. I think that's why, you know, so much with nerd culture and comic books have become so big now, because everything looks epic on the big screen.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great question to ask, man. I think that back then it was pretty risky to throw a bunch of money on a comic book movie that they're not sure is even going to do well.
Mhm.
And now, you know, the couple movies that they did do that were really big, you know, like the Dark Knight series, or with Heath Ledger's the Joker, that blows up, right? And then they're like, okay, so we can start making money now. Now let's invest in some good writers. Let's invest in these people that are going to give us really good stories, because we know that people have a thirst for it. So I think it was just like they needed to see it be profitable from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint. Once they saw
100%.
that, then they're like, okay, well, let's dive deeper into
Let's
it.
invest a little bit more into this.
Yeah, and you can see how that's taken off. I mean, obviously, with all the stuff we have out there now, we have plenty to talk about, plenty to watch. We actually talk
100%.
about sometimes where it's almost oversaturated. There's just so much shit to watch now.
Yeah. You know, with the pandemic and everything getting stopped and not released, dude, it was like there's such a thirst, and then now it's like you got to ease us
Like,
back into
Marvel,
it. Dude.
Marvel has what, a new release every month now.
Yeah.
Pretty much, man.
They rescheduled a couple things, but basically, yeah. I mean, it's impressive. They're going all out for sure.
Yeah,
They
man.
are.
I'm gonna switch gears back to you guys again.
Yeah.
That was a great question. No, thank you for asking that. I hope you hit us with a couple other ones that we weren't expecting to.
Mark's good at that.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
I'm
great, man.
interested on your end. You know, like I feel like you're interested in beer. I'm interested in what you guys are talking about. So
Totally,
Appreciate
this is
that.
perfect. It's almost like we didn't plan it out at all. How did you guys meet, man? I want to know how you guys came to be, and then where everything started. I know you said you wanted your vision to be unique and different, but like, how did you guys come together as a team?
Yeah. So you know, and feel free to interject, dude. But so you know, art has always been a thing in my life, but trying to push it professionally, you know, I'm in the Bay Area, and it's like everybody's a graphic designer here. Everybody, you know, does cool art stuff, but not everybody, you know, gets paid for it. So like, I went the safe route, you know, getting I actually tried to get into graphic design. You know, I got the interview, got the job, and then they shut down the division on like my first day. So, you know, I shifted over to something a little safer, you know, got into project management. But then, you know, as you get older, it's like that thing, you know, I've been drawing since I can remember. So it's always stuck with me. And then I was like, you know, I'm going to, you know, really try and push the side hustle, really try and make it a thing just so I never regret it. And so going that route, you know, my wife and I really enjoy beer. And so we were like, you know, getting into like the beer scene. We were originally thinking, you know, trying to get into brewing our own, and I can do the art and design. But then, you know, that's a whole nother monster. So we just said, you know, let's get into the beer culture, and we started going to more events. Like the specific one I'm talking about is Meet the Brewers at in San Jose here. Forget where it was hosted.
Hermitage.
Hermitage. Yeah, Hermitage. And so I went there. You know, I met Mark. I had fallen in love with his beers maybe a year before that, and so I was keeping up with New World Ales, and so I met him, talked to him briefly about art, and then like a little while later, I started delivering for Mark. You know, just because I love the industry. There's nothing
that
like.
Was also the impetus, I think, to me kind of reaching out to a couple other people for help was I had a pretty significant health issue.
Okay.
At the end of 2018, and so yeah, I had met Sean prior to that. And then I got hospitalized. I had some blood clots in my lungs. It was actually really, ironically, very COVID-like all my symptoms. But it was in 2018, so don't think it was COVID, obviously. But I had some sort of weird virus that really knocked me out for a long time. And so Sean was one of the people that helped me to, you know, start delivering when I couldn't really do that.
Yeah, before that, it was all Mark, dude. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
brewing and then delivering all over, dude. Northern California and Southern California.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I appreciate the hustle. I know that's a lot of work, dude.
Grind, yeah.
Definitely was a lot of work. You know, I think that became the main part of my job at some point, is just driving around and delivering beer. You know, the main reason for that is we don't have our own brick and mortar and stuff. So I feel like it's the route that I've taken, a lot like what Sean was trying to describe, or what he was describing, is a little bit of a safer route where I'm not investing the millions and millions of dollars into, you know, a brewing facility right away. And I, you know, rather put the work in myself to keep building and building and building and getting the name out there more before taking that next step, in a sense. So my illness sort of forced my hand in a way to get some outside help, which, you know, I'm very thankful for. Yeah, and Sean had delivered for us for some time. We kind of, you know, we always kept in touch, but we, you know,
life just got busier.
Life got busy, and it was actually when I went down to Poor Decisions one time, the brewery, before we went live, we were briefly talking. We went to a fundraiser there yesterday. Yeah. Sean does all their merch and everything.
Tap room out in Hollister. Just a quick shout out.
Yeah. Good guys. Yeah. And I went there and I saw like all the stuff that Sean had done for them. And I was kind of like, I don't know why. And Sean, it seemed like you weren't really promoting it a lot.
Yeah, I was, you know, trying to, like I was saying, you know, life was getting busier. And so just, you know, I was being very select, because I've burned out before, where I just try and promote the hell out of art and offering design and doing all that, and then getting too many people at once and not being able to promise or manage the workload. Yeah. So this crazy opportunity, you know, one of my brother's best friends said they were opening up a tap room. And so, you know, he thought of me first, which, you know, thank you so much, Nick. But it was a crazy opportunity because it was one client, but it was merch, it was interior design, it was their signage. So I was like, dude, this is the dream scenario, to have one client with so many different art aspects that they need help with. So yeah, I was able to get that, lock that in, flesh that out. And then it was, you know, Mark was delivering there probably for their opening, one of their first test runs.
I think it probably was.
Yeah. And then it was funny because, you know, I think they hit me up after and was like, hey, dude, like we just had like a 3-hour conversation with Mark. You know, he's like, he loved all the artwork. And I was like, oh shit. Like I didn't even think those two paths were going to cross.
Yeah.
And then Mark hit me up.
And I think one of the biggest reasons I hit up Sean is because he does amazing original artwork, which, you know, I feel like that was the main thing I was trying to get away from, was, you know, using somebody else's art or idea. And like, I had a couple other designers I'd worked with that did pretty good work, but they were more, I don't know how to describe it, like more, they weren't artists per se. They were more graphic designers. They were
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
you know, digitally based. Like didn't have Sean's background of an actual kind of artist background and modeling. You know, like when he sends me his sketches, you can clearly see like he understands dimension and he understands.
As horrible as the sketches are, sketch. I just want to make sure the message gets
Right.
across. I don't care what the hell it looks like, dude.
But you
It's-
can see
yeah.
it versus, you know, other times it's very similar to some other reference artwork or whatever. Like
Sure.
the originality that Sean provides is what's really special to me in terms of what he does. So
Thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
yeah, of course. Because that's why we've stuck with him for so long. You know, like that's, you know, we plan on doing everything in the future with Sean because he's done
Unreal.
what I would hope every designer could offer in a sense, but he's the only one that really has done it. So
Sure. And he's just a fucking great guy too, man.
yeah,
You know,
he's a killer guy.
Very, very good guy, very chill. And you know, I think you set out what you accomplished what you set out to do. Is that your beer is super original in terms of the artwork. And I mean, the flavor itself aside, just the artwork is very original. And like when I think of your guys' beer, like I have this very distinct style that comes to mind now, and it's yours, right? It's not anybody else's. So that's very cool. That must be a very cool
That's
feeling for you
sick.
guys.
That's
Yeah,
crazy,
absolutely. I mean, it's really nice to hear. I mean, I think that every brewery kind of has their own taste in a sense, and
Mhm.
you know, like I think some of our beers are a little bit more old school, if you want to say, or a little bit more like just mellow, but like I like it. Like
I was gonna say, especially now, dude.
yeah,
Like,
it's just
Yeah.
I don't want to be, you know, there's so many beers out there now that are just pushing the extreme as far as possible, like the smoothie style beers and, you know, all these other things that just don't taste like beer anymore. And it's just not appealing to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have a pint of a smoothie. Like that's like filling and fucking 5,000 calories, you know, like
Yo, you sound just like the other host, Kevin, man. He just wants, you know, his straight beer. Like, he doesn't want the fancy stuff. He doesn't want the
Yeah.
fruits and stuff. Like, he wants beer. And I
That-
agree with that, you know, in a sense. But, like, I do appreciate the other styles and stuff. I have a very, I would say, open palate in a sense. I like a lot of things. So, for me, it's cool to explore, like, those other flavors. Just like I was looking at your website. And the TP with the acai, like that is like straight up my alley. I know, like it's against what you were just saying, but like that honey
that was a
lager
pretty
stuff.
fun one.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. I mean, that was Creative Creature. They're known. That was a collaboration with Creative Creature out of San Diego, and they're known for just going hard on the parody stuff.
Yeah,
And so like they
That
did
was sick, though.
they did like
That
a
was really good.
6-pack May the 4th, so they had like 6 Star Wars beers for this year, and they do all that kind of thing, and they do it well. You know, they make it their own in a sense. But yeah, when they brought that up, because that was at the very beginning of COVID and everyone was hoarding toilet paper.
yeah.
And I was like, it's a little crass, but you know what? I don't mind making fun of people that are just being
Ridiculous.
assholes
Yeah.
for, like,
Yeah.
for hoarding toilet paper. So the full name of the beer was TP for my acai bowl, and it was a bunch of like people zombies like chasing after
Dude,
the TP. The
so
artist, I
good.
forget the artist. I want to say it was the vigilante.
That was
Excuse me
really
if it
good.
wasn't, but
Yeah.
one of their artists did the artwork and did a killer
Yeah.
job. And the other beer we did with them that came out at the same time was Honey Smackers, which looked a lot like Smacks,
Honey-
I guess.
Honey
Honey
Smacks?
Smacks.
Honey Smacks.
With
Yeah.
the frog and everything.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
Kolschi was
I used
the
to
frog.
love that
I
beer,
saw
man,
that,
when I
dude.
was smaller.
It was Kolschi. That's
Yeah.
no, it's amazing. I
Yeah,
love it.
Kolschi's the frog in that.
It's so good.
Yeah. And there's definitely a time and place, you know, for both things, pushing the envelope on what is beer
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
pushing the envelope with the parody stuff. So there is a time and place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think those two beers are probably the most non-beery beers I've made in a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you know, they were very, you know, they were still drinkable in a sense. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of beers I remember back in the day when everyone was crazy about IBUs. They're like, how high of an IBU can we get? And it's like, how bitter of a beer can we make? Like, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
Right?
Like, I don't want a really bitter beer. I mean, that's sort of changed now, but
Yeah.
Sometimes it's painful, man. Like when you have a beer like that. Like I remember back in the day when I was younger. Back in the day, I mean, I'm only 32, but like maybe when I was 25 or 26, I'd just like go find the hoppiest fucking beer that I can. Almost like if I were to walk out into the forest and just like take a bite out of a tree.
Pine tree.
You know, like that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. And then like it hurts going down, and it's like it's not even entirely that enjoyable, but the the alcohol percentage is high, and you only need one or two, and then you're feeling good.
Right.
I
remember
like
that for
the
sure,
older I've
like-
gotten now, I just like I don't know if I necessarily want that anymore, not as much. It's like I'd want to stop hurting myself, you know. Just like I want to actually sit down and just
It's a
enjoy beer.
it's a very college thing. I
Yeah.
think. Like, to me, it's just like-
Cheesemo thing, dude.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I want to see what I can handle, and you know, like I think that's still a very big part of brewing today. It's just shifted from that to now, like, you know, the crazy fruited or the crazy like imperial stouts that are just like dessert and like oil coming out of a can, you know.
And a lot of hazies too. Like hazy IPAs are the big standard nowadays too, you know.
Right,
Which they're delicious. I love them a lot. But I'm gonna real quick, you know, Mel was commenting, throwing a lot of emojis out there. The wifey, I'm assuming.
Yeah. That's right.
My girlfriend was saying how, you know, when you're talking about your Star Wars, how I have a huge Funko collection, which she hates, but it gets a little bigger here and there as the days go on. And then Kev was like, damn right about the his beery beers. And I want to segue into, you know, it's Sunday. We're going back to our old roots. It's just beer of the weekday, not beers of the weekday. And you guys have chosen the beer of the week, and I want you guys to announce that.
Yeah. So our beer of the week, or the beer of the week, is
gotta be.
We did our Hop Heroes Desolation. So this is our most recent release of the Hop Heroes comic series. So this is essentially like Hop Heroes Volume 8, although we went with a different name because
It's a brand new chapter.
Right. Yeah, Kolshi's kind of going into this new universe. I'll let Sean talk about that. I'll talk a little bit about the beer, but the beer is, we called it a New Zealand style double IPA because it's coming in around 9% and it's all New Zealand hops. It's not really a West Coast. It's not really an East Coast. You know, it's not as hazy as a lot of East Coast. It's not as, there's not a lot of wheat. Actually, there's no wheat. There's no oat. So like those things are pretty common in the hazy IPAs. But it's also not a West Coast because it doesn't have the bitterness that I associate with West Coast, where that's kind of a predominant feature. It's more on the dry side, which is kind of West Coasty, but you know, it's just very drinkable beer. New Zealand hops aren't typically what you'd see in like, you know, a hazy, because they just don't have a high oil content. So that's one reason why. I mean, you can see it; it's still kind of hazy, but it's not like overly hazy.
Yeah.
The high oil content from like a lot of Australian hops, for instance, the Galaxies and Vic.
I think we.
And so this is definitely, you know, it's more herbaceous in a sense. It's a little bit more kind of lemon lime flavor. There's some other, you know, more subtle earthy flavors as opposed to like the big citrus tropical and all that. But I think it's great because it's different, because every other beer is just the crazy citrus tropical and all that. Like, and I think that is sort of the de jour flavor, but there's no reason why you couldn't have a good, you know, easy drinking beer.
Yeah, and the thing I can't believe is that it's a double IPA and it's like this drinkable, dude. It's
very drinkable.
It's dangerous. It's
I think
that's the biggest. That's the biggest plus on it. Yeah. Is that every time I give it to somebody, they're like, "Nah, it's probably like a 7 or something like that." But no, it's actually a little bit above a 9.
Is it?
One, yeah, just slightly. Like you're allowed a 0.3% tolerance with.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but when we're making labels, we got to take a guess because the labels got to be printed well beforehand, and so that's why they give you that tolerance. Like, you know, it'd be great if they could, you know. You can get a really good guess, which is basically what we do. And so this was, I think it ended up at like a 9.09 around there.
Okay.
So it's a little bit stronger, but within the percentage they allow.
Yeah. but it still definitely tastes like 6 or 7.
It does.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
It
could
does,
put
man.
down 2 or 3. Like,
In no time, I'm already almost done with number 2.
Totally, dude. Yeah,
Kev,
it'll-
if you're still watching, if you haven't tried it yet, please crack one open and drink one with us. This is absolutely delicious, man.
yeah.
You're right. You're right. You know, it doesn't taste like anything else that I've had. You can't quite put your finger on, like, what's different about it. It's just different, and like you said, like, drinkable is like the first thing that comes to mind. For everybody that doesn't drink a lot of beer, they would drink it and be like, oh, that's actually pretty smooth.
Right.
Exactly.
And
I
then,
mean,
but they look at the alcohol content and like, wait, what? Like, man, what does that say?
It's a good surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
That's
awesome,
true.
man. Sean, you want to tell us a little bit about the label?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
can I point out my favorite part of the label, which
Seriously.
when Marcus first brought it on the show as his beer of the week, the thing I noticed was the whole lineup. I don't know if it's on this can, but on the
Oh, yeah.
on
Oh, it was on
volume
volume 7, I think. It
you
was
had
on-
the whole
Lineup
all
of
the
the
characters
characters.
as the hops, and man, that was the thing that got me. I'm like, that is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
definitely inspired by like Marvel, and they used to have
Just
that
the
corner
classic.
Yep.
of
Yes.
like 2x2 characters that were kind of in the can.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
it, man. I love it.
Yeah, so that was, our big thing that we wanted to communicate with this, and we went hard on it with the first chapter. This is so fresh, and nobody's written the book on it. So Mark and I are learning with every release. And the big thing for chapter 1, volume 1 through 7, was trying to communicate, because there's so much going on with the label. There's the overall title of Hop Heroes, and then the beer style.
Yeah.
I can kind of show
There's
it.
definitely like we eventually created like a legend for people, because I saw them popping up. This isn't the best example, but the other ones that said Hop Heroes had like the volume number and
Yep.
everything.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
here
one
we
that
go.
you guys have.
And try and
And so
I
sometimes
don't know if you
people
can
would
see
look
it.
at like the can number and be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is volume 2. But
Yeah.
like, no, that's the can number. And like
Right.
it caused a little
Oh, there
confusion.
we go.
Oh, that was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, for instance, that's can number 2 out of 4 for volume 6.
Yeah.
And
Volume
then the
6
volume
is
number
over here on the side.
right, just kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy when they did volume 2 and
Amazing.
volume 3
Right.
that's coming out.
And there's the 8% down there. This
Yeah.
is what Ty was talking about. All the characters are on the side.
I didn't even realize the
for that
8% is
particular
like the
can.
cost. I love it. I didn't even notice that till just a second. That's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
It's so, dude.
It worked so well, dude. It translated so like way easier than you would think.
Yeah.
Dude. Like because I had them side by side. I was like, okay, this is everything that needs to be on the label. This is everything that's on a comic book. And so
Yep.
just trying to translate, and trying to think, because I went to school for animation and media art. So in there, I had a few graphic design classes, and I was like, okay, so hierarchy, trying to set, what is the tone, what's going to be the reoccurring thing. And so I'm glad you brought up that character list, because that's been the coolest thing, dude. I'm very hard on myself, and so I love challenges. And the biggest challenge with this whole thing was, we really wanted the ingredients to be whatever's in the beer is on the label, except for Kolschin, except for, of course, Nelson on Desolation. But the only hops that appeared on the label were the only hops like in the beer. So I was like, okay, so how do we tie this gigantic story, dude? And how do we keep it so that the scenes are just on what's on, volume 2 versus volume 3? And, thankfully Mark Hop helped me out with having a few hops that were continuous throughout most of the series.
Yeah. Because like in volume 1, like the hops in volume 1 come back in volume 3. And in volume 2, it's Kolschin sort of calling on different hops to help them out.
Yeah.
So it's a way to get variety in there. And that's why I kind of mentioned earlier, Kolschin's sort of the bridge.
Yeah.
Like she was the one that would call for help because she wasn't a hop. Like so I didn't have to put that hop in the beer.
That's amazing, man. That's so awesome.
It's so smart.
It's very well
Brilliant.
thought out.
Yeah.
It's very well thought out. And it's unbelievable what you've done.
Thanks, guys.
It's so much fun, dude. It doesn't seem like anything, because Mark and I could talk like theories and stories, and
I mean, we have ideas that go like way beyond anything, like years from now. Like we could still be putting out Hop Heroes, but it's just a matter of, obviously it's consumer appreciation and consumer, what's it called, adaptation of it, like getting used to it, because I think it is such a weird, different thing. I do think, unfortunately, a lot of people got confused by it, where they saw Hop Heroes and they're like, "Oh, I already had that beer," and it's like, no, this is
no, you
2,
haven't.
3, 4, 5. So I think over time, hopefully,
it'll gain traction.
Hopefully, I inspire some other breweries to do something like this. Versus, it was really cool seeing that Half Acre one. Like, because nowadays everything is just puns and satire.
It is.
I love Humble Sea. Like, I don't know if you guys know Humble Sea. They're one of the more popular breweries out here. And they used to do their own original stuff, and now they just, everything is a pun. Like Goodyear's Shrimp and like The Fog Who Lived, and like, they're all like fog and like hazy oriented, and there's nothing wrong with that, and they're clever, and people freaking love them. They did a Rick and Morty one the other day.
I didn't see it yet.
Mr. Meeseeks, if you guys are Rick and Morty fans, like everything is a C puns. I think they just spelled like C differently. It's like,
right.
I get it. Like, it's funny and it's nostalgic and people like that, but I really hope the craft brewing industry uses what they have to promote, original artists and to like promote original ideas rather 100%, than just copying what's popular.
And there's so many, original artists that are doing these parodies things
too.
Just
give us a chance.
Just looking for an opening, and like they're all brilliant. And so yeah, dude, I'm super thankful for Mark for this opportunity. But and just getting into the difficulty, because we have all we have a spreadsheet of a lot of ideas, and we have scribbled notes everywhere, and just the difficulty of trying to funnel it down to a 4-pack like per volume, dude, is like that's part of the fun, is trying to figure out, okay, how do we reduce this, and how do we make it consumable to like just the casual fan that's hopping in and out of the story. So
I mean, you can definitely see it from volume 1 to Desolation. Like, we definitely focused more on like the central image, because that's kind of what consumers are going to see on the shelf right away.
Sure.
This giant shocking monster one.
The GMO fruit monster.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, dude. That name
that's
in
the one
itself.
I brought on the show.
The GMO fruit monster, man. It's so good.
By the way, I love that you guys made the fruit the bad guys. That was like that was very cool.
That was one of the first things we actually decided on, because Mark uses fruit in and out of his beers. Like, some of them are all hop heavy, some of them are a combination of fruit and hops, and so I think we established that pretty early on. It's clearly a battle, because that's what's going on in the can. They're fighting for your taste buds.
At the same time, like, I kind of have a feel for the fruits, sort of, I don't know if you guys are Reddit fans, like, the Thanos did nothing wrong, like, Reddit. The fruits, like, I have a feeling we could almost have like a separate spin-off where it's just like, let's tell their side of the story in a sense.
That's very smart, man.
We were thinking about that direction,
because the fruits,
it's always in the back pocket.
I don't want to give too much away. I mean, you probably can, because God knows if they'll ever come to this. But
that's fine. Yeah.
So there's obviously fruit and hops are big ingredients, but there's other ingredients in beer, like yeast, for instance. So
sure.
Yeast is this huge billion-person army that like is going to down the line be this huge enemy, like Clone Wars, like Star Wars.
Well, yes, I know exactly what this is,
man.
And that's chemically, that's what's going on in beer, which is
that's the interaction of all of them.
Yeah.
And so at some point, our fruit characters and hop characters, our fruit and hop characters will align to fight the greater evil that is the
Oh,
East.
you guys.
You need to make an actual comic, like literally like an actual
Seriously.
comic. It's funny because if I lived, out by you guys, I'd probably be buying every volume because just to enjoy the story as it goes along is so fun. Like even like as you read comics and you go through the volumes, like to drink a beer that has a story that's very entertaining and very fun would get me hooked instantly and has me hooked. This is absolutely delicious, and it's cool that you guys, Mark, that you change up. It's different beers every time you do a different volume because it's a new flavor every time you're drinking this beer and you're enjoying the comics. So, and I commend both of you because both your talent, your skills are very talented. Between graphic design and craft beer, you guys hone in. You guys are amazing, and even your boy Hoppinger said Mark's beer plus Sean's art equals winning, and he is 100% right, man.
Thank you guys, too.
Yeah, much appreciated.
I don't know, my head's gonna fit outside the door.
I want to bring up something real quick. Pineapple survives. Is he? I mean, it was a thing for me. It's like, okay, he's getting away, and he's gonna come back one day, right?
His
Right.
next
Yeah,
suit,
definitely he'll be back. Like he's. Like we killed passion fruit, but that's also the beauty of fruits and hops is that you can have like revenge of like baby passion fruit. Like like there's so much that you can kind of naturally work in that you probably couldn't do in other ways. Like
it's
the story goes way beyond like the yeast thing too. Like there's like Kolshi, if you notice, she has an eye patch through this whole thing, through volume 1, through everything, and it's kind of, how did she get it?
Just the whole Nick Fury, story behind it, bro.
Amazing.
So we have got some good ideas as how she got it, but it's kind of like we have to take some steps to get to that point of really revealing it.
And I'm just so thankful that there's always a loophole with fruits and hops, because hops.
Literally, like passion fruit dies and it rots and it grows another fucking passion fruit tree.
and hops are technically related and clones of each other. They're on the same vine.
Yeah.
That's like,
you guys hit a home run because this shit just writes itself, just basically how it goes, and just got to find a way to twine it together and make it work, and that's so cool, man.
And Topaz is such an asshole.
Topaz is such a dick.
Yeah, I think Mosaic is my favorite.
Yeah.
I like Mosaic.
I loved writing in that for you guys that don't know, Topaz like crossed them, but there's even a few hidden stories in there because Enigma took out Topaz, and it's cool because these are all names of the hops.
And Enigma and Topaz are both Australian hops. That's why they have this close chemistry in a sense. Like if you look at, I think it's volume 2. When he's like at the locker and he's crying because there's like pictures of them together, and like they were basically like grown up in the same neighborhood, and then basically Topaz is at that point they didn't know that he was a traitor.
And so they thought he was held captive, and so just I have so much fun dreaming all that stuff. And then Mark's incredible knowledge where it's like these two hops are from Australia. They're very, they're literally geologically close. And it's just like, dude, like.
Yeah, it definitely was a reasoning why it was Enigma and Topaz.
There's a reason behind everything, which is, as a nerd, I love digging into that stuff and just being able to be like, dude, this makes sense.
And we even threw in the diamond hands in volume.
Yeah, you did.
I saw that, man. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, because I was just like, I don't know if people watching been following like GME and all that kind of stuff.
That was right at that same time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still going. It's not done.
Dude, I got diamond hands with Dogecoin. I got the diamond hands. I'm staying in it, man.
So yeah, I mean, because I was like, what could be? Because part of me was thinking there is some merit to the parody. There is some merit to the pop culture references and stuff.
Yeah, staying trendy. There's a way to drop it in and work it into
right, like a tiny little nod to pop culture, like where I think it makes very much sense because Enigma crushes Topaz, which is a gem. Like the name of Topaz hops just happens to be Topaz, and so crush it. How do you crush gems with fucking diamonds? And so that's
great, dude.
That's Enigma's power.
I love the cheesy one-liner. It's just like when he can slice them, he's like, "It's sliced to meet you."
Oh yeah.
Like I
Sliced to
love
meet
that
you.
kind of shit. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just
I
want.
That
think,
was all
like
I
to
think
see
on
it.
the one, maybe the one that you're drinking, it's Kolschi at the bottom of it says you're in hop territories now. I don't know if you noticed, but she's peeing on
I didn't
pineapple.
notice, dude. Wait, is
So
it the one
maybe
I
it's
have?
not on that can. Maybe it's a
It might not
different
be
can.
this one.
It's
Yeah.
in volume 6, but it's the one where like the one before pineapple like jets off.
Yeah.
I think I have
He's
one in my
crushed on the
fridge.
ground.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is only can number 2. I think it might be can number 3 that you were thinking of.
I think it's 3 or 4.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
that's
there was
hysterical.
pineapple was saying, "Don't you know this is Fruit Alliance territory?"
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he says, "Time to taste the steel of my blade, pineapple."
Yeah, and so there's a whole story behind that dude's blade because he took out passion fruit with that,
Yeah,
that
you
blade,
slice passion fruit in half.
and he's like, like this is like his dearest thing. He's like, and then it just gets crushed.
Oh,
Yeah,
here we go, everybody.
So here's Enigma, and Enigma kind of does like the AT-AT with pineapple
Yeah.
to
Mhm,
drop
yep.
his legs. And so when he drops his legs, pineapple crushes. This is soursop, and that's guava, so they're dead. But Topaz just barely made it out of there.
Yep.
But on the can before this, Pineapple was making fun of Mosaic because Mosaic's blade broke when he tried to attack Pineapple. Like it just shattered. And he said, "Don't you know you're in Fruit Alliance territory?"
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Kolschi says, "Don't you know you're in hop territories now?" And what do dogs do when they claim their territory?
Boom.
Yeah. But the "you're in" is definitely meant to be written as "you're in" as a
Yeah.
little double entendre.
You
So,
guys
yeah.
are very clever, man.
Yeah, you're seriously, guys. Like,
I mean, I read through it and I was like, "Oh, this is really funny. This is like, corny and campy, but I love it." And like that's the kind of thing that I like. And when you were explaining all this stuff now, it's like, whoa, this is like a lot of levels to this.
yeah,
that I didn't even
it's
think
deep.
about.
Yeah, you guys have gone deep with this.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
See what I
We
mean,
definitely-
dude? There's a giant funnel of like ideas and like
Right.
puns and
Yeah. We
what's
definitely went
trendy.
macro and have slowly like
Just funnel it
funneled
in,
it
filter
down
it. Yeah,
to the things that we want, but keeping all the macro ideas out there.
yeah.
It's cool.
It's
I
a
want,
lot of fun, dude.
and I kind of want to segue into the collaboration you guys had because we spoke about it a little before this. If you want to go into that.
Yeah,
Sure.
on Desolation.
Yeah,
The
for
collaboration.
Desolation, a lot of the beers that we've done are collaborations. So the reason why this dog is on here, this is Kolschi, which is my dog, and she's, like I mentioned earlier, sort of the bridge between gaps and whatnot. And I don't know if Sean mentioned it, but the reason why this is Desolation versus Hop Heroes is because she literally like transferred through a portal to a new world.
And the portal, it was a Fruit Alliance territory, like a Fruit Alliance portal. So of course it couldn't fit any hops in.
Right. So it was only like she was the only one of the Hop Heroes that could go through. And when she goes through, she runs into Nelson. And Nelson is the dog of the owner of Non Sequitur Brewing Company out in Brooklyn, New York. They're up and coming guys. They're a lot like me. Like that's one of the reasons that we kind of connected, was that we had a very similar backstory. He uses his dog on all his labels. I do too. He was a former teacher. I was a former teacher. Like it was just kind of like, random that we first met up, but we kind of always kept in touch. And so, yeah, it's a collab with Non Sequitur. And so the Frenchie on the label is his Frenchie that's named Nelson. And Nelson is a New Zealand style hop. And so hence this is the New Zealand double IPA.
That's awesome.
Right. Awesome, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We like to do collabs with people. We're starting to branch out to do collabs with people outside of the beer industry more, because I feel like that has been a really good reach in a sense, because you're reaching out to people that not only like craft beer, but you're also reaching out to people that might not be exposed to craft beer, but will like to try your beer because it has
With
this
somebody
connection.
else.
And sometimes I think the best example is the People Under the Stairs beers that we've done. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
I haven't, but I
People
want to.
Yeah,
That's
People
a
Under the
very good
Stairs,
beer. The last one.
both of them were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wish I still had some of that first.
I know.
One. People Under the Stairs is a underground hip hop group from LA, and we did one beer with them that was commemorating their final album release back in 2019. And we just did another one that was unfortunately in memory of half the band, because it was a duo, hip hop duo, and one half unfortunately passed away, Double K, Mike Turner. And so with the blessing of his family, they reached out to me. We did kind of a little fundraiser sort of beer for them. But it's just so, I don't know, it's just so nice to reach out to all these people that might not ever try craft beer, because but giving them something, you know, obviously the last one was very unfortunate because of somebody's passing, but, you know, hooking it up to a record release, or hooking it up to, you know, some other outside idea, I think goes a long way in terms of, you know, bringing in a new audience and exposing new people. Because, you know, as much as I think our beers are great, like there's a lot of, you know, like the craft beer nerds that are going to be like, no, it's got to be, you know, Monkish or Hill Farmstead or Alvarado or Assange. Like there's a lot of people, influencers or whatever you want to call it, that have a lot of pull.
I hate that.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say I can hate that whole lifestyle influencing, dude. If you just drink the damn beer, if you like it, you know, you like it. It doesn't have to have anything in it.
Exactly.
Just try it.
And like,
you know, like all this stupid shit. Dude, that's a whole other conversation. No, I'm not gonna get into that.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, like I'm on your guys' side.
Do those breweries make good beer? Absolutely, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that much better?
It's debatable.
It's a personal preference. It depends what you want.
Exactly.
Like, I've had people rip on me for like making a fruited beer and it wasn't a smoothie. Like it wasn't thick. There was no fruit on my glass. I'm like, well,
people get too picky,
Do
man.
that. Like I don't want that to be. That's not beer. That's a smoothie. Go down to Jamba Juice, throw a shot of vodka in it, and congratulations.
Dude, I agree 100%, man. Like, you know, as someone who, like I said, like I like a lot of things, like, and you know, Pennsylvania as its own right, like they have very great beers, very competitive out here. Like the Hop Heroes Desolation, man, it's top tier. It's freaking amazing, and you know, it's after trying it, it's one of my favorite double IPAs by like bar none. Like not even, again, not trying to blow smoke up you guys' asses. Like it's very fucking good. It's very drinkable. It's very enjoyable, and it's going down very fast. And like, and the thing is, I'm not a big double IPA guy. And for someone who doesn't enjoy double IPAs as much as, you know, other people do, this is fucking awesome, you know? So for those snobs who have like their remarks, they don't know what they're talking about, because you got off for the first beer, especially someone who doesn't drink double IPAs, this is amazing, and I want to try a lot more that you guys have to offer.
I'm gonna have to send it out your way, man.
Yeah,
sincerely appreciate it, man.
I'll have to fly back out to California.
Well, yeah, one day when they can do that, I'll find a way to send it out. You know, when we can, when it's legal.
One day.
One day.
There'll be a pipeline somewhere.
Yeah, there's a secret travel tunnel.
So,
so glad you guys like it, dude. It's awesome to hear. So thank you guys so much.
And it's just, you know, it's just like a nod to both of you, because not only do we get to enjoy like fantastic beers, you get to read again such a great fun story while you're doing so. It just the whole concept, man. You guys are onto something, and you know, I think you're going to be the start of something that happens more often, because it's smart. It's what's popular nowadays in nerd culture. You know, how many people go to the movie theaters to go watch, you know, the MCU films, you know, and you know, it's based off comic book material, and you guys are doing that with hops, with these funny stories, with these great stories, and you know, I want to see more of it, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I know you guys are saying you're taking a break, but like,
it was interesting to hear you talk about like a comic book, because we've always, you know, brought up the idea down the road of pitching it to like Hulu, Netflix, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if there would be a huge like following for it, but given what I've seen on original content, sometimes it's like subpar. I think it would be pretty freaking cool.
I think so too.
I was gonna say there's so much that we've had to like
just cut out
that
we haven't included just because there's only 4 cans.
Yeah, there's only so much real estate to tell every volume.
But I would say this is only like 25% of the story.
Or less. Yeah, for sure.
Like we're nowhere near what we thought of.
Yeah, and I'm trying to save as much of it as I can, dude, because it would be extremely fun to do something crazy, you know, different away from the beer and, you know, comic book, animated shorts, whatever it is.
Yeah.
where, like,
Yes, dude, and plus
it would be so fun.
it's two booming industries. Like both are so popular right now. And Alicia on Facebook was saying craft beer gatekeepers are the absolute worst. Yes, preach that. But no, but to go back,
100%,
right? So like you guys are dealing with two booming industries, and I think that would work so well, especially as shorts. Like, dude, maybe make a YouTube channel about shorts with that stuff. The both of you, I think that would take off so well, so well.
That'd be
Well,
money.
we'd be watching it, so at
I
least
100%.
people that'd be
Hell
watching
yeah.
it.
I'd be tuning every week. I'd be
Yeah,
ready.
dude. I want to ask you guys one last question about your, about your company and your business before we move into a couple of fun questions. What are you guys' plans for the future? Like, as a brewery, like, what do you want to? Where do you see the next steps for you? Where do you want to go?
So, as I mentioned, we're kind of gypsy brewers, contract brewers, whatever you want to call it, where we've used other people's facilities to produce our product at the moment. So we don't have our own brick and mortar. So brick and mortar would be the next step for sure.
Okay.
We were actually really, 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 really close to signing a lease back in March of last year before COVID really hit. Before it really started impacting our daily lives in a sense. Right. And I just kind of held off on it, and I still, I don't necessarily feel comfortable moving on with what we had set up at that point in today's world. Right. But we are constantly looking right now for location. That is absolutely the next step. Whether it's a tap room, whether it's a brewery, I think will depend a lot on just what's available. Like finding something that's a brick and mortar brewery would be hard to say no to.
Right.
I'm one guy. Like, I'm the only technical employee of New World Ales, so it's not like we're super rich.
But you got a team.
I got a cool team, and I got a good idea. I got good distribution. I've been building those steps up. So the next step is a physical spot, whether that's a tap room or a brewery, and moving on from there. Because I really like my current partner in terms of brewing. I work with Devil's Canyon Brewing Company out of San Carlos, and they have the facilities to basically make whatever I could possibly want to make. In terms of batch size and everything like that. It's definitely, beer is not a profitable thing, so it's an economy of scale, where the larger the batch, the more per unit price goes down and that sort of thing. And so that's why we currently only do like 130 barrel batch a month. The last thing I want to do is sell people old beer or beer that's subpar. So like, sure, we've been keeping it intentionally small because I don't want to,
keeping it fresh.
I want to
you don't want the product, the quality of the product to go down.
Exactly.
Sacrifice that. Speaking of which, though, maybe because I like I mentioned earlier, I cleared out my local place, so I need to find some other places to get your guys' stuff.
So I'll bug Hop Asylum again and be like, dude, this guy says he's coming in. Get it on tap. It's the one thing I will say is that now, post-COVID, what was really interesting during COVID was all these breweries that were extremely, extremely sought after started reaching out and distributing to liquor stores and the general public, and it's just increasing more and more. So we sincerely appreciate your support, because it's just getting hyper competitive now, where by not having that brick and mortar, especially, it's like I'm dependent on these outside places buying the beer / individuals. Like I literally do deliveries to people's houses for beer, because that's what I got to do.
Well, I might see you within the next week or so. If you can rent some out.
We'll be the guy delivering it.
Yeah.
So,
How much to deliver out to Pennsylvania?
That'd be a little bit more costly. That's a
What
longer
are
road
flight
trip.
prices right
It's
now?
a longer road trip. Yeah, flight prices. Just pack a bag.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay, well, that sounds good, dude. It does sound like that's the logical next step for you guys, if
we've been looking at several locations, and like, part of me feels like I'm a bit of a perfectionist, my own harshest critic. Like, I want to find something that's that's going to live up to what I want it to live up to. I don't want to like kind of just phone it in like, oh yeah, we have a tap room now. Like it's this random strip mall.
And you're holding off for room to grow too, because you want it to be sustainable.
Like we're not by any stretch of the imagination rich. Like I don't know if you see this is my 400 square foot apartment that I live in.
It's a grind.
It's not much, but like it's all I need. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And like I just want to bring good beer to good people, and that's
it comes through in the beer, man. I can taste it. I can taste that you really enjoy what you do.
Yep.
And that the love that goes into it, you can, it feels very personal, and it feels very like I don't know what I'm even saying here. I'm glad.
I
just stepped into that other world. I stepped through that portal, and fucking Nelson is like showing me the way.
I think you guys said it. Mark. I think you said it as well. Like, it's a taste I've never had before, and it's something I actually it's really enjoyable. Like it's tasty, it's delicious. You can have a lot. I've never had a New Zealand IPA before, let alone double IPA, and it's now one of my favorites. And it's because you brewed it so well that it's so great. It's you guys tremendous job on all of this.
Thank you. It's very nice to hear that. Like it's a little bit tough at times because it's so like those craft beer nerds have such a volume. Like, but I've always kind of said like the people.
Sure.
Well, the people that have the most to say, or the people that talk the most often have the least to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think is a very good, and I hope that people understand that, like because today's culture has become so much influencer based and so much like I'm going to tell you what's cool, and if you don't have it, then you're not cool.
Yeah,
my name is Steve, and I'm over here on my YouTube channel, and here's everybody what you guys got to listen to me say, and this beer is incredible, and this beer is shit, and it's just like, dude, shut up, just shut up and drink the damn beer already, Like
I would love to have like my beers lined up just in front of Joe Blow, like some random person, like
blind
take all the hype beers, take one of my beers, which one do you want? Like
black label tasted everything.
I mean, I think it would go a long way because
100%.
like I think a lot of the hype with the breweries that have the hype is because, like I mentioned earlier, they do the extreme, and it's like, yeah, I get it, like people want to push their limits, but like I also just want to not have it be a challenge. Like, I don't want to have drinking beer be like, brace yourself for this super hobby.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to chew this one. It's like, dude.
Yeah, man.
Look,
I don't want to, like I said earlier, I don't want to put myself through pain anymore all the time. So I want to drink something that's really enjoyable, goes down smooth, but is also 9-10%, and I'm over here having a good time.
Right up your alley, Marcus.
You guys' beer is right up my alley. I like the
I think that's something that we've done really well recently, and that's one reason why. I mean, among the reason why we do beers in that 8 to 10% range is because consumers want it. Yeah. But also, I think we do a really good job of it.
Amazing.
Like there's a lot of breweries.
Sneaks it in for sure.
I'll say that, man.
Like where you don't get that ethanol burn, you don't get the fusel alcohol burn.
Yep.
It's how we brew it. Like we brew differently for sure. Like we definitely take. I have the hiccups. Excuse me.
Yeah. I love it, man.
We take a lot longer than most breweries in terms of like start to end product. Like we're not rushing it. A lot of breweries, I wouldn't say necessarily rush it, but they have quotas to meet or they need the beer, like because it's got to be on tap or whatever. Sure. Like me, just being an individual, like I'm happy making one beer a month. Like I'm not getting rich off it, but I know that the beer is going to be good. I know the beer is going to be able to be sold relatively quickly. I know it's going to be able to get into your hands quickly. And that's all I really want to do. Yeah. I'm not, I don't have ambitions of becoming the next fucking Budweiser or whatever. Like that's not a goal at all. I don't want to even become Sierra Nevada or anything like that. I just want to make good beer and get it to people.
Yeah. Keep your heart in it for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny because for me, there's a brewing company by me, Victory. It's very big. They're Golden Monkeys. They're standard. I'm not sure. They have a big.
Definitely know Victory.
Yeah. So before they became part of, I forget the name of the group, but their beers were absolutely delicious. But now they became part of this group, and you can tell like the taste isn't there as much anymore.
Cost cutting.
Yeah, because they had they had their this lager they had. I forget the name of it, but when it first came out, it was just it was amazing. It was one of my favorite things I ever tasted. But then, you know, they rebranded and stuff, and that became the worst thing they had on their menu. You know, because you know exactly. You know their Golden Monkey stays true because that's their and their Sour Monkey. It's their monkey brand. Is what they'll stay true to. But their other beers, their IPAs and whatnot, like. It doesn't stay true because they're just phoning it in for probably what's cheaper for them to distribute and whatnot, and it doesn't stay true to the flavor they had from the get-go. So
it's a very true thing. I mean, it's like I went to UC Davis and I did their master's brewer program in 2014, and we got to tour a bunch of cool places, Sierra Nevada, Budweiser, a couple other breweries, and you could see it. Like you could see it at Budweiser in particular, like where like Goose Island, for instance, was a Chicago microbrewery. And they're very famous for their Bourbon County Stout. And when Anheuser-Busch bought them, AB InBev actually, I think they were at that point, you could tell, like on the tour, you could go to Budweiser and they have like two ingredients. They got like two row and caramel 45. And your beer is going to be made out of that. And that's it. And it's like, you can give us whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, it's different percentages of
each
an economy. There's a whole line of beer.
Scale, exactly. Right. Like I said, it makes way more sense for them just to kind of alter your recipe to their settings, and it's not going to taste the same.
Yeah, that to the average beer drinker and watcher, I kind of equate it, because with craft beer, we're blessed with being so saturated now. But if you scale it back, think about it like food, like craft beer is inherently crafted, so it's like going to like a local like taco truck or a local food truck. They have this amazing these amazing one-offs, and it's all these fresh ingredients from all these small vendors. Then you sit and you order the same thing from Applebee's or Chili's, and it's like totally manufactured. It's going to be the same. You're going to order the same shit in Chili's like San Jose as like Chili's like in Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's going to taste the same, but it's like, dude, it's not local. It's not small. It's not, there's no heart in it. It's all, for numbers and profit and efficiency. And it's all.
And there's definitely different levels of that. Like,
there's a full scale to it. But
when we first started, like we grew a lot of our own hops. We had a little hop yard down in San Martin. Yeah. Like, and that was, so the whole New World aspect of New World was I wanted to make beer like they made in the 1600s, like when the Pilgrims came here and when they basically needed beer to found America, because without beer they would have been totally screwed.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Absolutely. The first job ever posted in America going back to the colonies in Britain was brewer, because they didn't have enough brewers, because water is, I mean, especially Jamestown, Virginia, you've settled in a swamp. Congratulations. That water is horrible.
Awful.
But when you turn it into beer, because you boil it, they didn't know at the time that boiling it is killing all the bacteria and all the microorganisms that are in there.
It just tastes better.
Yeah, that's probably it. This water is way better than normal water.
Yeah, what the hell is this? And why are my eyes getting small?
And so, it was what made America, really. Like, you wouldn't have survived in Jamestown without beer. Yeah. There's no way. And we actually were very close to starting in Virginia. When we first started out, I had a friend that had a spring water bottling plant. Like, he had acquired an asset package, and that was part of the asset package. And I went down there, and it was like, we went and saw all the Pilgrim ships. So all the beers, for instance, New World Ales first made were named after Pilgrim ships. They were named after, like, Susan Constant was our first one, but we could just call it Constant. Discovery, Godspeed, Deliverance, Four Sisters. There's a couple other I'm not remember. Unity. Those were all our beer names, but they were also pilgrim ships that brought people to the New World. And so the way we made our beer was how they used to do it. Like, it was all gravity fed. There were no pumps. There was no nothing. It's something I want to go back to. It's something that
it's still apparent in this, dude. You're still doing original.
We still try to do things as natural as possible. There's no additives. There's no anything. Like, it's all You know, we don't even biofine a lot of these beers, like, because we just try to keep it, by not biofining it, we keep it vegan too, because biofine is basically ground up fish sturgeon bladder, I believe. I don't know how they figured that out, but that's what it is.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either.
I had no idea.
Right.
It
pulls,
mark
pulls
classes
things
in
out of
session.
solution in a sense, and makes your beer clearer and whatnot. But like, I want to keep it natural. Like, I
Yeah,
want to
it's
keep
awesome.
it.
You're
like,
keeping it original, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Does that mean that it doesn't have
Everything.
as long as a shelf life? Yeah, it does. Like, there's certain things, there's trade-offs, but it also means that the flavor before that point is way better,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
and you can tell.
It sure
Easily.
fucking is. I'll say that, man.
Yeah.
Like, hands down.
And I want to go into the comments a little bit. So Alicia said again, she said, the attention to detail really emphasizes the passion that's behind this brand. If any company deserves to see their vision come to fruition, it's this one. So which was really awesome to
That's
see.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
And then, like,
Alicia
super
was her
kind.
name? Thank you, Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia. Ojada.
Alicia. That's
Alicia.
actually my
Alicia.
girlfriend.
Alicia.
Ah.
Oh,
She's
nice.
not blowing smoke up your guys' ass either, I promise.
But yeah, so we have a few quick questions. It's called Beero Quick Questions. It's going to be a little
Yeah.
comic and hero related. I'll go with the first one. What are your guys' favorite hero or villain?
Oh, dude, it's easy for me, so I'll go first, dude. Venom, like by far, dude.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
In terms of a hero or a villain?
both, dude.
Both, 'cause, like, but isn't
Anti-hero.
it Carnage and Venom? Like, their Carnage is sort of more the...
Yeah, exactly, dude. There's always like a bigger
Yes.
villain to it. But Venom was very often the villain to Spider-Man. But hands down, dude, just I'm Venom all day, and
I
like
love
that ties it back to the beginning. I was so disappointed with how they first represented Venom in the superhero movies.
Dude.
Oh, with
And-
the Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3?
Oh, that was so,
I can't even-
That was so hurtful, dude.
And what do you think about the
I
current?
cried.
What do you think about the current Venom with Tom Hardy?
Oh, I think it's spot on, and I think it's so unfortunate that it's still a Sony property.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
The only thing that a little bothered me from the trailer that came out for Venom 2 was the fact that he was so, like, you know, funny and gimmicky with like the cashier at like the deli or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not Venom to me.
Dude, the way she reacted to watching somebody get eaten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like nonchalant.
I was like, and then now they're like homies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's believable, but I think Tom Hardy, I think, is an excellent Eddie
agree.
Brock, and you
Yeah.
know, it's his voice that does Venom. They just filter it, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
playing that dual role, I think that's what it takes to represent it correctly. And God, dude, finally they got the proportions correct too. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, when he turns into full Venom, he's like, you know, 10 feet tall or whatever. And I'm like, God, that's what it was in the comics. Like,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, that's my answer. It's
Yeah.
easy.
I'm trying to think, like, back to when I was a kid, and like, you know, like, to me, Juggernaut was always the
Juggernaut,
arch
yeah.
nemesis. You know, like, he was always like the one, like,
Yeah.
that was hard to take down. I'm like, what movie other than Deadpool? I'm trying to think.
Oh, he was in was it X-Men Origins, or he was
It
back
was. Was it? I think it was the origin. It was the
Yeah.
origins, or it was the Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, I think maybe. And
Yeah, I think
that's
you're
another one that, dude, the redemption. I know you guys are fans of Redemption. I'm like, dude, I'm so glad Ryan Reynolds like rewrote Juggernaut into there, and
Yeah,
Dude,
I loved it
true.
way more. It was,
Dude.
Yeah.
it was way better.
yeah, Deadpool's another kind of anti-hero where he could
Yeah.
be hero or villain. I
think Ryan Reynolds is the perfect casting.
Yes.
Oh
for him.
my
A billion
gosh,
%.
Totally.
Yeah.
Your boy Hoppinger even
Chef's
said,
kiss for sure.
yeah, your boy Hoppinger said Venom and Deadpool are the best anti-heroes by far.
Absolutely, dude. That was me like all day as
Yeah.
a kid. And and it's funny that you say Juggernaut, because the way, dude, it was so, whatever this makes me sound like, dude, it was satisfying that like Juggernaut just ripped Deadpool in half. I'm
Dude,
like,
Yeah.
it was
It's
so
like quite
that's
dude.
what
literally.
it is.
Yeah.
But it's exactly how it is. That's how it should
Yeah.
be, you know. He,
Yeah.
you know, as much as I loved like the meme back in the day where The Juggernaut meme.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Yeah, I'm a
but...
Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah, I'm a Juggernaut bitch. But like for me, like Juggernaut, you know, he's so powerful and like he kicks ass and like you need to. He's like the freight train that you need to stop, and that's what I want to see on the big screen.
100%. I think, you know, I could go for days on this, but I think back in the day they played it safe that they didn't want anybody too powerful. But the way they packaged Juggernaut now, and then the way they packaged was it Captain Marvel? Like,
Yes.
She's ultimately
it's
powerful.
okay that they have these like ultra powerful people that you realistically.
Captain Marvel's like the most powerful one. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know they just find the loophole in the story. It's like, oh, she's busy. That's why she can't deal with shit. Or like Juggernaut was like locked away in this super prison. That's why he's not wreaking havoc, dude. Like that's how the comics
Great
work.
take.
Yeah. Your wifey just said we open up a can of worms.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
John, whenever you want to come on the show and talk shop, you're always welcome to come back anytime you want.
Facts.
I'll be in the doghouse in about an hour. So be like, don't talk about that when you get home.
I have a question for you, both of you guys. If you could sit down right now and have a desolation with any comic book hero, who would it be?
That's a good one.
When you say have a desolation,
Maybe okay. So
like,
it probably starts as one, and it probably
have a nice beer.
You're probably gonna have like 3 or 4 or 5. Basically, who do you want to sit down and get drunk with?
I probably wouldn't mind Deadpool just because
Yeah.
he seems so
Oh,
fun.
yeah, dude.
You know,
Yeah,
like why not Deadpool?
Yeah.
Like, he's
Absolutely.
work with the mouth, right?
Yeah, that would be super fun, dude.
Ty, who would be yours?
Oh, come on. The Stephen Amell's Green Arrow. That's easily.
Oh,
like,
who
by
was
far.
it gonna be? I knew it was coming.
Easily by far, man. Like that. This man like murdered people in his first season and just like didn't hesitate. And then he like tried to turn over a new leaf. Like Green Arrow, my favorite. You know, it's all because of Stephen Amell, and you know that's who I want to drink a beer with.
I gotta catch up to that. I haven't watched any of those series.
Unfortunately, you're not missing out on too much. It's been on a decline. So
no.
yeah.
I think that I would like to sit down and have a beer with Thor. That would
That would
be
be cool.
pretty
That would be cool.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say Thor or Star-Lord. One of those two would be
Yeah,
fun
that would be
to
fun.
drink with.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Now I have another quick question. Who would you like to have, if you could, obviously you can't, like it's, you know, copyright reasons, have a crossover as a hero or villain into the Hop Heroes series?
Well, we can always ask them, and if they want to be part of it, we can do
There
that.
you go.
know?
Yeah, happily work that in any way possible.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is some cat-related superhero, but the only cat ones I can think of, I don't feel like would fit into Hop Heroes very well.
No, what's the
Isn't Saber? No, what's his name?
Sabretooth?
Like, cause yeah, Sabretooth, right?
Sabretooth from X-Men.
it's
Yeah.
wild?
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I could see-
Feral.
Basically, like, you know how Kolji has her eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
Her villain was gonna be a cat. And
Oh.
so having some kind of superhero villain that was cat related, I think would be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
Black
to tie
Black
in.
Cat or
I mean, like, but like, you know, like,
dude, Black Panther.
I was
Black
gonna
Panther.
say,
Oh, yeah.
he's on the right. He's on the wrong. So like, we need a villain. Like,
Yeah,
Sabretooth's the villain. Isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Catwoman sometimes crosses the line back and forth between
Right,
hero and
right,
villain. So
right.
Yeah, I think
maybe
I'm more of a fan
Catwoman.
of Sabretooth, though. That would be an awesome.
I like
villain
Sabretooth
to
more than
have,
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like
Maybe Kolshi has a relationship with Catwoman. And she crosses the line.
There's some history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be personal. That's just
Dude,
scratch your eye out.
100%. To be that close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very personal.
What about you guys?
Who would I
The
want to see
crossover into your
crossover to
guys'
the
comic line?
Desolation, man? I mean,
Yeah.
you have the Nick Fury, right? I think I'm gonna be very cliche with all my answers because it's just obvious. I think you need an Archer in there, and I think you need my boy Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow, to help, you know, pin those fruits
That'd
to
be
the
sick.
to the trees and stuff.
Yeah. How do you attack the army? You know what I mean? You have a
The
you have a
East
sniper.
Army.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Shooting off a lot of arrows.
I like it.
Man, I'm trying to think. I'm gonna go real weird here and go Poison Ivy from Batman.
I like
I was
Uh,
gonna say something plant
you
Hell
know,
yeah, dude.
would be really
she
cool.
can influence your guys' hops in some certain
Right,
way. You know,
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
brilliant,
Yeah.
Marcus.
I think that's a good one. That's a really good
The
one.
mind manipulation.
yeah,
That she
that would be
has.
my answer for sure.
There's a, gosh, dude, this is like third or second or third tier. Oh, Lockjaw. So yeah, it's definitely not on anybody's radar. But there's a giant bulldog in the MCU. That's part of like some like galactic or cosmic cosmic team. But it's it's like 10 times the size of your normal like English bulldog, and he can talk and communicate. So that would be my
Yeah.
choice, but it's way out there for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know what, guys? We went like 20 minutes over than we were supposed to because we were just we were having such a good time just
We
chatting.
love this, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
this was a lot of fun.
You guys were amazing to have on and to talk to. You guys are such cool guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue to drink
guys
your beer
too.
going forward. Thanks, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you guys
that a
too.
lot.
I love what you guys are doing, dude. It's like the perfect match.
Yeah.
It's kind of the other end of, like we said, you guys are the customers that we're making both the beer and both the comic for. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, and
Always,
we're
always,
gonna
man.
promote you guys to the end because like for in Pennsylvania, me and Kevin are big Workhorse Brewing Company people. They started up like I think 3 years ago, 2018, and we love their beers. We live by them, so we'll call them out all the time. Like your guys' beers, Marcus had a bunch of them and loves them. Like Desolation was fucking fantastic. So we'll stick to you guys by the end. I just want to shout out too. Hop Patrol was calling me out saying, "Bruh, Archer, you need Hawkeye." I'm a Green Arrow guy.
Dude, that would be a sick competition.
You just opened a can of worms for Ty. That's
Right?
Ty's,
Yeah. And then
That's
Alicia was
fighting
saying,
words.
Marcus, your girlfriend was saying, maybe an Invincible Hop Heroes crossover, which would be, pretty gangsta.
Oh, have you guys watched that show Invincible
Dude,
on Amazon Prime?
no.
Is that a Marvel series?
No,
It
it's-
is its own thing.
it's an
Robert
original.
Kirkman, the guy.
Walking Dead.
So, yeah, the
Robert
guy from
Kirkman,
Walking
he
Dead.
created this series,
Oh,
and
so
it is incredible.
Insane.
Really?
that's the one with the older dude that's like crazy powerful, right?
Omni Man.
Yeah, J.K.
Yeah.
He's
Simmons.
voiced by J.K. Simmons.
Dude, if you guys
Yeah,
want to
so-
watch something like entertaining, I don't know if you like cartoons or not, but like this is like an adult cartoon it's epic. Like it's
It is brutally violent, and it's got a really great storyline.
yeah.
All the
On
voice casting is
Prime,
all
you said?
A-list people
Yeah,
that you would
Amazon
never
Prime.
think would do a show. Yeah, it's on Prime. It's
Your
incredible.
your guys' review actually makes me want to watch it. So
Yeah.
You should check it
incredible
out,
job.
John. I think
Yeah,
you would really like it a lot, man.
I checked out the highlights of Omni Man, and I was like, dude, this is this is in America. Like usually, like
Yeah,
this
right?
brutal and violence is all anime and like Japanese related.
true.
Totally. Yeah.
It looks unreal. So definitely.
Again, just thank you guys so much for doing what you
Seriously.
do. Thank you for creating incredible beer, for creating incredible, but the thought behind everything.
Yes.
Everything is very purposeful that you do, and it comes across in the product. And just cheers. And whenever you guys want to come back and chat, we can talk about whatever you want.
Amen.
Anything. If you guys got anything new coming out and you want to promote it, definitely let us know.
Oh, I might as well
on-
mention it. I mean, it
You
was
know?
funny. We talked about the Pogs earlier. So the
I
next
dropped
beer
it intentionally for sure.
is Pog Dog.
Oh my God.
Nice. I love it already.
We mentioned that we were kind of going a little bit away from the Hop Heroes, and the first
Yeah.
beer is Pog Dog, where basically it's Kolsch on the label slamming some Pogs.
Yes.
And the beer itself is a Pog beer.
Pineapple, orange, guava.
Pineapple,
No
orange,
way.
guava. And I'll pull up the label here really quick.
That's
so you
that's
guys-
right.
Ooh, we get a
Yeah.
sneak peek at the label too.
Sneak peek
Yeah, we just got it approved. It's getting printed right now.
Yes.
coming out.
This is awesome. This
pretty
is fucking
soon.
awesome.
So I don't know if you can see it too well. I'll get really close.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you see
Oh,
that
you
perfect,
can.
man.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
So
gonna be a
8%,
fun
huh?
one.
8%, I see.
8% as well, yep. But the even better part of it is we're actually making Pogs. And
Yeah.
so
I love
under-
it.
under every 4-pack topper, we'll put one Pog for 4-pack.
Oh,
so there's
dude.
10 different Pogs and they're all Hop Heroes pogs. So there's like Hop Heroes 1 through Desolation, so that's 1 through 8.
I'm flying
Then
out to
there's
California today.
And we got a Hop Heroes pog, and then a Pog Dog pog, and even some slammers.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Those are going to just be for people that buy online and whatnot.
And directly from Mark. So tune in, Instagram, New World
Yeah,
Ales.
if you ever want to, if you want some more pogs in your life.
I want pog. I lost all my pogs back in the day. I need more.
Oh,
It sounds like
yeah.
I'm fucking starting up again, man.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm starting back up
I
again.
think that's what we're doing. We're all dusting
We're
them off
trying.
and bringing them back.
That's
but I was-
amazing, dude.
I was gonna throw in, just like what you guys were saying, just to echo it back. Everything you guys are about. Personally, I'm about, and I know Mark's about as well. And yeah, let's just fucking go, dude. We'll pump you guys any way we can. We'll get things going in the future.
Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, it's all about just meeting cool people, right? And it's like creating connections. And you guys are
100%.
awesome. And I've outside of this, I would hang out with you guys any day of the week, just to go and have a beer and take it.
Same thing on this end.
Absolutely.
So
We'll make a
if-
trip out there.
Well, dude, I don't live too
He's
far
not
from
too
you,
far.
so
Yeah.
He's not too far
I
at all.
can
I'm
hang
the
out
far
with you.
one.
Yeah.
See, Ty's gonna miss out, but I'll come down and hang out with you guys. Are you in San Jose?
Yeah. I live in
Ish.
Hayward. He's in San
I'm in
Jose.
San Jose.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're in Hayward. That's not even that far from me,
It's
man.
not
That's
even that far.
35 minutes, maybe. So
Yeah.
we'll be in touch, man. I'll hit you up. We can go hang out and have a beer.
Absolutely.
And we'll do more of this
Absolutely.
too. This was
Yeah.
awesome.
More of this too.
More than happy to.
Yeah, we'll call you in. We'll Google chat you or something.
Yeah. Zoom you in time.
All right. Well, for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. We appreciate it. Sean and Mark, thank you guys again for being on here. And as always, it's an honor and it's a privilege. Cheers, my friends.
Hell yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.